This week we're going to be carrying on with some grass and weathering our roads. So I'm going to put some ground cover on this section down here. So I've got my grass glue, my blended turf, or blended earth rather, and the green as well. So we've got brown and green. So we start by putting our glue down, and then we put down a bit of brown, and then finish off with a bit of green, and then we'll get our flat brush to tamp it all down once we've done that. If it gets a bit too green, just put a little bit more brown. Right, we'll let that dry, and then when the glue's dry, we'll hoover up what's left. I'm going to start work on some of this area as well. So we've got our little mess hut that goes here next to the engine shed. So I'm going to put some tarmac down. So I just need to draw sort of roughly where I'm going to put the tarmac. So we'll make a bit of a path and area along the front there. And then some coming down here. And yeah, just perhaps a bit of a path going down here somehow. So we're going to paint that with some tarmac. And then we've got somewhere to put the mess hall, and obviously the guys have then got somewhere to walk when they're coming up and servicing the trains. So it's not all just grass or mess. And then we're going to need to think something about fitting this engine shed in as well. So we've got our MIG asphalt again, and I've got a paintbrush just to put in some fine lines by the edge of the railway. So I can start doing that, just gentle. Yeah, so that's all our area done there. So we let that dry, and then we can start putting some grass and other stuff down there. Well, I want to paint the edge of my platform section. So I'm going to make up some grey paint to be similar colour to the top, or to the platform actually. So I've got some white and black here. Let's just try and get it about the same, roughly. Yeah, it's not too bad. So I'm going to put some ground cover down on this section here by the mess hall. So we're going to put some grass glue down, and then of course brush it out. So going up to the edges of the tarmac, it doesn't matter if it's very neat, because if you look at the edge of paths and things, you see the grass does grow over the path or the tarmac in lots of places, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So that's quite normal. Okay, first we're going to put on a bit of yellow, just a little bit of yellow, a bit of yellow grass. Then we're going to put on some earth colour, and then finally we put on some green. Then we're going to use our flat-headed brush just to push it into the glue and get the texture that we want. Yeah, got a little bit over there that's a bit empty. Let's put some on there. Okay, now, and then we're done. Now let that dry, and then we'll hoover up the excess. So we're going to do a bit of weathering on my car park by the station. So I'm going to need some weathering powders. So we've got our little pastels. So I'm going to need some different colours. So I'll need some grey. So remember, we use a sharp knife and we just basically scrape the powder. So we get ourselves some nice weathering powder. That's all good. I need a bit of brown to sort of put some mud by the grass. And then I'm going to need some black, just for sort of tyre marks, and to cover over a bit of the white and grey that I put on my car park by mistake. Let me get some black in here. Right, so there we go. We've got our three colours, grey, brown and black. So now we're going to get ourselves a little brush, and we'll start. Oh, actually, I'm also going to be using these little foam things. So don't tell mummy, but we've taken them from her makeup bag. So they're just like little foam things that you use to put makeup on. But anyway, we're going to use those on the railway. So that's quite cool. I'll get another brush and we'll go over to the car park. So the first thing I'm going to do is to put some of this grey down on the car park itself. So I'll just use the makeup foam and use that just to brush it, can you see, onto the tarmac. So we're already lightening up the tarmac. Okay, that's nice and light. Now I'm going to put some brown along the edges where the grass is coming in. So just a bit of dirt, a bit of mud, and you get the mud spill over onto the car park itself. Oh, my grass is coming off, that's not glued in very well. Anyway, yeah, so that looks a bit brown now along the edges. And then I want a bit of black because I've got some grey paint down here, remember? Let's mix that in. Yeah, that's a bit better. And then we're going to make some darker tyre marks. So I'm just going to mix some of the black with the grey, make it a bit darker. And then we'll use the foam and we'll make some tyre marks coming in, like on the road. So where cars might have parked. We can put that grey in there. Might be a bit hard to see on the film, but it looks okay on here. Looks like tyre marks coming into the car park. So we do some going that way as well. And a few going in this direction. We can always park some cars here later as well. Yeah. So that's a bit better. Yeah. So I've got a bit of markings on the car park, so that's all good. What else? A little bit more brown down there probably, just in that corner. That's fine, that's good. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that. Actually, I've got a bit of brown around here I can put in. I've got some more white around this side. And actually I can use it to make the side of the platform a bit dirty as well. Just dirty it up a bit so it doesn't look so clean. Like mud or rain and something splashed all over it. So it looks a bit less clean then. Even on the floor, let's put some powder on the floor so it doesn't look so perfect. No, well, that's a bit better than just plain black. I'm going to do a bit of weathering on this road as well. So using the same technique we used on the car park, I've made it slightly darker grey for the road. So I think the other one was a little bit too white. So just basically, yeah, just use the sponge and just cover over the road so it's not quite as black and clean as it was. Okay, we're going to try some static grass on this area. So I'm going to load up some dead grass first. This is just the base layer, 1mm. So a bit of dead grass. Put some in the hopper. This time I've put a little pin in the scenery so we can ground it a bit easier. You might notice also I've just put some 4mm straw grass tufts on here as well. I made those the other day. So we can put some spray glue on and then we can, I've masked up the area. I don't want the glue to go all over. So plug in our little pin, turn him on and off we go. Right, that's dead grass. And I can put some 1mm green grass with the glue. I'm not going to put it everywhere, just a couple of places. Now we can do some 2mm, a bit longer. So I've got 2mm dead and 2mm green, spring green I think this is. So I'm just going to put some over here, and then we'll put some green. Oops, my pin's come out. Hold my pin in. Let's have a look, see how that looks. Yeah, a lot of grass everywhere. I'm going to have to hoover some of the excess up, but we'll wait for that to dry, and then we'll hoover up the excess. So the grass isn't too perfect, we can brush it a little bit in a few places. So it doesn't look all sort of perfect. Actually, I think you can just use your fingers a bit really. Okay, we're going to put some bushes down on this part. I've put my static grass down. So we want to put some bushes. So we get our little bush, get some glue, a bit of glue on it, and then we find a home for it. Now that we cover up that little hole where we had our pin. Now I've got some lichen bushes here as well. We can put some lichen down. And then we get a lump of lichen somewhere. Oh, well, it can go there now. And I'll drop some glue on. There it goes. Nice. You can put the odd darker green bush as well. Some darker green ones. A bit more glue. We'll get some weeds. I'll have to hoover the excess off once it's all dried, the weeds that is. But yeah, it's looking okay, isn't it? Probably getting a bit too busy maybe. And then we're going to need maybe some dead leaves, so a bit of brown somewhere along the line. Things. Still a little bit more to do, I think, but it's looking pretty good, pretty cool. So in the siding by the engine shed, I'm going to glue a few pieces of rail. So these are just like some leftover bits of rail that we had from the project. So we can, glue them down. So they're just spare bits of rail. That's what they do on railways. If you look around, you'll see lots of little bits of rail everywhere. So we can just put them down there, leave them in different places maybe. So they don't have to be straight. So they can just be some crooked rails and things like that. So yeah, there you go. So I'll glue those down and then we'll just leave them there. You can put maybe a bit more rust on them or something. So I'm going to use the fast set glue. Just put some little bits of glue on them. So I've got some bits of rail. I can put some weathering powder on there as well, just to maybe make them look a bit more rusty. So I've got a bit of rust coloured weathering powder, so we can put that on the rails. Even leave some on the gravel as well, and it looks like the rust is dripping onto the floor. I don't want to waste the rust as well, so whatever rust I've got left over here, I can just brush that along the inside of the rails. Don't want to waste it. And just building up a bit more detail on the scenery. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
8:30 p.m. Weekdays and Sundays. The Down Coastal Special leaves Euston